This is still the morning show here on Signature TV. We have one discussion that is quite worrisome in the sense that we've seen over time how people who are graduates supposedly are unable to spell their name. And in fact, when you have somebody who is a graduate and is unable to spell their own name, you would wonder if you would want to even keep them as staff in your employ. So we're going to try to examine the Nigerian educational system as it relates to the graduate employability. And we have with us live on Zoom this morning, Professor Engineer Christopher Osita Anyaeche. He is an academician and an industrial engineer. Good morning to you. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Good morning.
How do you react to some of these thoughts that graduates out of Nigerian universities are not employable?
Okay, thank you very much. I think what we have to look at it is from the end user's viewpoint. Now, in some of the training some of us have had, we've been told that it's the end user that determines the quality of a product. So you can design a product, produce it to specifications, but that does not mean that that product will perform. It may have conformed. So part of what we're having now is that we have our specifications, we have our guidelines. So we produce products to conform with specifications with actually looking at what the end user needs. If you ask me my opinion, I think the end user should be part of the training process.
So how do we inculcate end users into the process? Because again, by end users, you are talking about those who are job owners, those who are entrepreneurs. So how do we inculcate them into that? Because again, some persons have also blamed it on the curriculum of our institution that are outdated and needs to be improved upon. Can you speak to these issues?
Yes, I think we are saying the same thing, only that we are approaching it from different perspectives. The end user can be part of the training process if he comes to the classroom and teaches exactly what he wants the product of that process to deliver. You ask me, you want to train a pharmacist. What's a pharmacist supposed to do? At the end of the day, he's supposed to dispense drugs. Are there people who are dispensing drugs? Yes. Why don't you bring them into the classroom, bring them into the lab to complement what the teachers are doing with them? You want to train a medical doctor? Yes, you take them to the ward. That is why our medical doctors are still the best among those that are sought after. And immediately they finish because the end user has been part of the training process. Regularly, they are taken to the ward round to see patients. And that is exactly what they should be doing by the end of their training. Now, you ask me, you're training an engineer, have you taken him to what he's supposed to do by the time he's done with the training? You're training a pharmacist, have you done that? So by the time we start applying the tests, I think we'll get a better result.
Do you think the emergence of artificial intelligence would in some way improve youth employability or diminish it?
Sorry?
Do you feel artificial intelligence, the emergence of artificial intelligence, would in one way or another improve or diminish the employability of our youths?
You see, AI is just a tool. So the tool is as good as what you make out of it. If you want the tool to mislead you, it will do that, very, very well. If you want the tool to guide you properly, yes, it will do that. Now, AI on its own is good, but how do you apply it? I'm a teacher. If I give a student's assignment and they go and use AI, fine. By the time I sit down and look at it, I will know because there are some other processes, some other things one will do to check whether the results they are giving me are AI generated. Now, AI is supposed to simplify the process of learning. It's not supposed to give you the end product. If you don't have an idea where you're going, AI can lead you into the bush. So it's the application of AI that one will say will lead you to the direction you want. If you want AI to mislead you, very well to do that. If you want to use it properly, very well to do that. That's my reaction.
Right. Even in our job systems, many people fear that the emergence of AI would, in fact, make our youth even much more lazier. You know, the things that in the past that you would employ somebody for to do, AI could actually do it, such as, I mean, content writing. I mean, I'm even writing letters. I mean, in the past we used to have so many secretaries, but these days you really don't need those amount of secretaries. All you need to do is just to pump it in, pump the prompts in, and then AI gives you something that is at least similar to what you are thinking, or something a little bit different, and maybe you just adjust a bit of it. Do you think that AI would, in some way or another, you know, kill the chances of people getting real jobs?
I will answer that by, first of all, by asking you a question. If you have a plumbing somewhere in your house and it's leaking, how can you use AI to fix it? Somebody has to get down to do the
That's a
job.
good question.
So
But then again, I could get an idea from AI about how to basically fix it. You know, if I ask it, I mean, a few questions, even though it might not be accurate, but it could lead me to something.
Thank you very much. That is what I'm saying. The application, the AI will simplify the process. I'll say so. But the AI will not go and fix the thing that is leaking. AI will not do that for you. They will simplify the process for you. By the way, every software, every application, all of them, they are developed by human beings. They are maintained by human beings. All these softwares, all these machines, there's a basic difference between them and human beings. They don't have emotions. Once you tap the button, it starts working. When you press another button, it will stop. Now, human beings are different. They have emotions. They can apply emotions to their solutions. If you ask AI to go and administer a drug, for instance, it will say somebody has malaria, you go to AI, you get the specifications. Between me and you know that patient A may be different from patient B. Unless you go back to ask patient A, what is the reaction you're getting from the medication? You might not know. Unless you program AI to ask that question, and that's not enough. You still tell AI what to do after it has gotten the response. So AI is only to complement. If you leave everything wholeheartedly with AI, the person is heading into the bush. Yes, AI will displace some people, but that's some work, not in all jobs. Just as some of these things have pointed out. If I want to prepare my lesson notes, yes, I can use AI, but you try AI. Ask AI the question. The answer it will give you is as good as how you have crafted that question. And if you try it with different AIs, they are likely to give you different solutions. They cannot be exactly the same. So you that you're using AI should know exactly what you want. AI will displace some people from jobs, but AI will also create more jobs. But at the end of the day, if one doesn't have the skill, AI is worse than useless.
Absolutely. I mean, those are the profound lines you've used there. You just have to have the skill to be able to use the AI, because again, AI sometimes can be misleading if not used properly. I mean, it's a profound thought from you, Professor. But again, I also wanted to ask you how you think our educational system can improve upon leveraging AI, because AI has come to stay. I mean, and these days you see students writing their courseworks, writing their tests, even writing their exams and projects using AI. These days you hardly even see students even use their heads to do anything meaningful. You know, as long as they know that they have ChatGPT to answer all the questions that they probably have to do. So how do you think that our educational system can inculcate AI positively?
Now, again, who will look at that work that the student will submit? Who will assess it? Is he sufficiently familiar with AI? Is he sufficiently, does he know enough about the weaknesses of AI? AI is not 100% the issue. It has some weaknesses. Even ChatGPT, give me any work, go and do ChatGPT. There's a software, I'll put it there. It will assess it and tell me that this work is AI generated, 20%, 50%, 80%. Then I'll call the student, my friend, I didn't ask you to use AI and generate results and give me. You can start with it, but you still have to bring in that human element into it. Until you do that, you may not get the result you want. Now, AI has come to stay, but don't forget, before now there was no AI. Therefore, in the years to come, something else will come and replace AI.
What was the role of students? I mean, those who are out seeking for jobs, what are their roles in this whole playbook? Because everybody's got a role. I mean, you have a tool called AI, you have the institutions called the schools, and then you have the employers, employers of labor on the other side. What are the roles of those who are students of the institution and those who are also looking for jobs in this regard?
Yeah, thank you very much. You've highlighted the stakeholders, the parties. The students are part of them. The system that is also training the students is also part of it. If you ask me, any student that is going into any university must come out of that school with 2 skills. If you're going for history, go and read your history. But attached to that history, you must have at least 1 vocational skill that you must acquire to full proficiency within the 4 years you are staying in that system. What do I mean by that? You can learn barbing, whether barbing salon or whatever name you call it. It could be tailoring, whether you call the fashion designers or what. You will learn how to repair your handset. You could learn carpentry. You could learn how to install your solar system. You could learn how to repair your cars. So if you don't attach this to the paperwork that is we are churning out of our universities, then there's a problem. We cannot blame it entirely on the students. No, it's the system that is the major culprit. The students have their roles to play. That is why from our students, you see the very smart ones, they will learn what you're teaching them in the classroom, but across the road there's somebody that's repairing handsets. You spend some time with him. Before the end of the 4 years, he's a very good handset repairer. Even while others are still getting ready for their youth service, for some other things, he'll be thinking of how best do I set up my business so that maybe by the time I'm done with youth service, I already have something doing. I'll give you an example. I know somebody that has 4 children. The first 3, by the time they finished, we are looking for jobs. So by the time we got to the 4th one, he said, no, this mistake that have happened, we will not repeat it. What did he do? Anytime there was ASU strike, anytime there was any form of strike, he will make sure that that last boy is into learning a skill. What did he learn? Barbing. He is still in school, but today I can tell you he is a very good barber. And what is he reading? Pharmacy. So one day I sat him down, can you please explain to me how this your barbing stuff will play out in your pharmacy course? He said, yes, that if you go to barb, to cut, have a haircut, at times you see people with dandruff, at times you see this, with all these treatments that they're having on their hairs. Say, he is going to bring in his pharmacy knowledge into the barbing salon he wants to set up. There's another one, a lady, she read law. But during all this strike, I don't want to say ASU strike because there are so many other strikes. She started learning fashion design or garments sewing or whatever. At the end of the program, others were rushing to law school. She said, no, mommy, daddy, please let me go and round up this my garment training stuff. That there's a particular part of it, either embroidery, there's a name I can't remember, that he wants to add to that. And He wants to finish that before even proceeding to law school. So you can see that already these two examples I'm giving you, they have prepared themselves for the future. They may not necessarily need to learn anybody, start writing applications, waiting for anybody. No. So the students themselves should make sure they find out what does the market need. And that will lead us a very simple question, the economic question. What's the economic question? You want to produce. What do you want to produce? Is there a need for it? Who do you want to produce it for? What is the quantity? What technology are you using for that? What impact is it having on the society? Is the system, your process, is it efficient or inefficient? So by the time you answer these questions, vis-a-vis what we turn out from our educational systems, you will appreciate more where we are. For instance, who can tell me precisely how many teachers we need in this country that will turn out from our schools every year? I'm not sure the statistic is there. How many lawyers? How many engineers? How many people that should fix our plumbing system? How many people that would fix our cars? Vulcanizers. These are vocations that should be attached. Bring in that vulcanizer who cannot speak English, that is our vernacular. Let him come into the university to teach it, practicalize it, have a workshop there. Bring in pharmacists into the, I'm not talking about the health center, no, into the teaching process. You ask me, is it only these people? Yes and no. If you're reading law and you want to learn something else, go and learn it. There's nothing saying that a lawyer cannot be a barber. No, I've told a pharmacist that is a barber. So that is the challenge the younger ones have. Let them look beyond the classroom. I've had so many students, many of them, once they finish, they are talking about JAPA, going out and so on and so forth. A few of them will come after some time, they come back. I normally have one question for all of them. What do you think we would have taught you while you were here that we didn't teach you? Many of them will smile and say, well, one of them, when he got to the US, he made a first class. When he got to the US, the kind of pampering, giving them every stuff they needed here, they were not giving him that. John, that's your seat, that's this, that's all. You and your work, then they start pumping assignments. How did he cope? While he was still doing his undergrad years here, across the road, he was learning computer applications that he was not taught in the classroom. So those things helped him a lot by the time he got over there. Again, there are so many professional programs which does not discriminate whether you read history or Yoruba or English or what. Go and take up professional training certification in project management. Go and take it in music. Your background is not the issue. It's what you can apply yourself to do. You can read history and be a very good musicologist, playing organs and so on. And people will be looking for you, provided you can solve problems. So those younger ones, those ones you are training, should know that you are only relevant in any society where you can solve problems. And there are so many problems. The only thing that we see problems, we turn our eyes the other way. And of course, these problems, we are told, are actually opportunities to make money.
Wow. You have just, hit the nail on its head, so much so that it has expanded my thinking and my horizon in terms of thinking. You talked about largely skills acquisition. Our school these days don't have that aspect, and you have stated clearly in this interview that if you do not, go beyond just the classroom teaching, you might just be lost in the winds. Skill acquisition for virtually everything, it plays a key role. But just before we go, I don't know if you can, just within 2 minutes, highlight the importance of social media or the impact of social media on employability of our youth today.
Yeah, social media has played a great role. I know somebody, in fact, these days, once there's any application, you see thousands and hundreds and thousands of people are applying. Instead of having a situation where you get everybody that will stamp it, you go online, you apply, they shortlist, do the exam, and in some cases, I know a bank that even after shortlisting, without seeing themselves physically, they started training them. So they put them through training process that lasted about 3 months before they even say, okay, visit branch A so that we will see you. So social media is actually playing a lot of role, is doing very well, provided, again, we are using it positively. Anything you don't use well, or especially all these softwares, will actually lead the person to the bush. Thank you.
Okay, Professor, Engineer Christopher Osita Anyaeche, many thanks for your time. I truly appreciate your insights on the program this morning.
Thank you very much. Nice, I'm happy to be here.
Save Nature TV. News in your pocket.